Kyle, Elias Pettersson, he can do it all, you know? He can score goals, 100-point NHL player, unicycle enthusiast, and just a certified good dude. We're going to tell you why he's a certified good dude coming up here on Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, baby, we got some yin and yang on this show today. Not only are we going to talk about Elias Pettersson being a certified good dude, but we're going to talk about something aggressive as well, Kyle. But first and foremost, we want to thank you for hitting the play button on today's episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. And before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. On today's show, again, we're going to talk about Elias Pettersson being a certified good dude. There's a reason for that. We're going to get into it. We're also going to talk about the Canucks being aggressive, and they're aggressively trying to shop a winger. Kyle and I will give our opinion on which winger is most likely to be traded and which winger should be traded. But first and foremost, let me introduce that guy. He's almost 30 years old, but he's still here and no walker yet. Kyle Bhawan, how you doing, buddy?
My bad, muted right there. Almost 30 years old and feeling sexy, man. I'm liking the new hairstyle right now. You know, just doing things differently, putting the wax through my hair, you know, embracing the long hair while I have it. I am thinning out just a bit at the top. It is what it is, right? You get up there in age. There's people on my mother's side who, you know, unfortunately don't have the hair anymore. But hey, maybe it's fortunate too, because people say there's a lot of wisdom in the bald people these days. Okay, enough about me though. We'll get to the comments at the end of the show because we do save the best for last. Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs, and we're talking about wingers again, possibly down the road in a couple minutes, right? 10 to 12 minutes. But first, Pettersson, good guy. Deserves the accolades, deserves the mention. And I guess this is like, it's cool. You know, we get some recognition here. King Clancy, good guy. Boom, boom, boom. Is he going to win a Hart Trophy down the road? I'm saying yes, he is. I think in a league where McDavid and Draisaitl and Bedard and Matthews and all these, you know, all these stars are at the top, I think Pettersson still has a chance to win at least one Hart Trophy down the road. Bagsy, let's talk about it though. This King Clancy, let's talk about it, right? Let's spread the love. Let's spread the peace. Let's do it.
Yeah, Elias Pettersson. So first and foremost, the King Clancy goes to NHL players who have had a big humanitarian impact in the community. So Elias Pettersson is this year's nominee for the Vancouver Canucks. And he's done a few things in the community for sure. So he's been a long supporter of Canucks for Kids at Canucks Place. That's been a staple in this province for a long time. He's been spending a lot of time apparently with children and families at BC Children's Hospital. And he also has a ticket program called the EP40 Crew. So at every Canucks home game, Pettersson supplies tickets to a family being supported by the Canucks for Kids Fund. And then he meets with each family after the game. And I've seen him meet with some of these families after the game, kind of going from the dressing room to the coach's media room. So yeah, it's again, just certified good dude. And I brought this up way back when, and this is just an unfair shot at the Maple Leafs right now, but I'm going to do it. But there's a story about Pettersson and his humanitarian work that came out around the time that Austin Matthews got charged in Arizona for his little public mooning incident. So I'm just thinking in my head, like, you know, I'm just glad we got good guy, humanitarian Pettersson on the team and not the ass clown. Can we say that? I'm not quite sure. Literal ass clown and Austin Matthews, showing his rear end in a public place. So
that was years ago,
yeah,
though. Years ago. Come on.
What was Pettersson doing? What was Pettersson
rich.
doing years ago? What was Pettersson doing years ago? He was there for the kids, Kyle. He was there for the kids.
Yeah, I know. He's forever been a kind individual. You know, thinks about other people first. It's pretty clear, right? That's Pettersson for you. And again, lead with love as always. And it's one of those things that I feel as if it gets lost, right? Especially in situations where the team you cheer for, the team you follow continues to lose games. You kind of do spend less time with the human aspect of all of this, right? And as we get older, you understand that that's really what matters here, your relationships. And in this case, obviously, we don't have no physical relationship with Pettersson. We don't know him. We're not shaking his hand or anything like that. But he's still a human person, and his accolades and his recognition of being a good person should be celebrated, man. It's cool, man. It's cool. And at the end of the day, that's again what it's all about, right? Because that's how you get up there, right? That place called heaven. I think it's easier to get to heaven with the King Clancy trophy, right? When you get to the gate and they look at your resume. Well, even a nomination. I know he's not going to win the trophy, but like even a nomination, that's cool. That's great. That's beautiful, man. We should all be more, not just grateful, but generous, man. I feel as if I've been saying this for the last couple of days. I've been writing about it in my book that's coming out next week. Been talking about it on my network. We're all here to get along, and by no means does that mean you have to donate money and always donate money and give back to the people, blah blah blah. But if you do have it, I truly believe that you do have to share it, because like it a lot, money talks, man. Money talks, money moves, and spiritually, money is a form of energy, and I feel as if again, Pettersson's shown it from the jump that he's willing to share the love, and I think he understands that he's grateful. And where am I going with this? Trevor Beggs, this is what you had to do, right? You had to get me down this path of talking about the human side of things. I'm turning 30. I'm getting older, supposedly getting wiser. And now, again, look at how I'm talking early in this episode. Just feeling old and boring, man. For real.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of hand movements too. Is that for the audio listeners? You just missed out on Kyle waving his hands around a bunch. Is that something that comes with being 30? You just start using your hands more when you talk.
Right? It's like I don't know what it is.
Jesus,
right?
That's not what I was going to go with that. But anyways,
isn't that what happens?
That's
like,
all right. Yeah, that's
like,
technically what happens. Yes, but that's
I'm not
not
saying
what
I have that. I just again, that was dark. I know that was dark, but
Jeez,
bro,
Louise,
like I said, I'm turning 30, and the other day I popped some Tylenol for no reason. No reason. I just woke up. It was 7 a.m. and I'm like, you know what? I feel like I need a Tylenol or some Advil.
Yeah, you might.
Why?
You might
Because
have
I'm
some
getting
pain.
older.
Yeah, it was a preemptive Tylenol. You were waiting for the pain to come. Back to Pettersson quickly. I thought we maybe should list off a couple things. Like what else can Pettersson do? Okay, like obviously when he's a great hockey player, he can unicycle, he can juggle. He's great in the community with families. He's raising money for charity. Like what other hidden talents does Pettersson have? I was thinking if you could.
He reads
books. I know. Yeah, he's an avid reader, according to Kyle. I know you wanted me to ask that in the presser. I did not, so I apologize. The end of season presser. So Pettersson, avid reader. I think he can probably tightrope walk. If he could ride a unicycle. I've seen those guys in the parks. On a nice sunny day, they tie up that tightrope walk between two trees and they just get going.
Where the hell are you
never seen that before?
This? No way.
This happened. I've seen this in Germany. I've seen it in Vancouver a couple times. I saw it at Crescent Beach. Shout out Surrey the other weekend.
They're like connecting a rope from tree to tree, like 7 feet off the ground, and they're just
no, not 7 feet, like a foot or two. Like
a foot or two. They're tightrope walking a foot off the ground. Yo, play some soccer, dude. Play some catch.
What are you talking about?
Play some catch, dude. A foot
Can you
off the ground.
Tightrope walk? Come on.
A foot off the ground. What's the point of that?
To see if you can do it. To test your balance.
Dude, come on. Play some soccer. Throw the ball around. That's something else. Kids these days, they got no respect. You're going to take up real estate at a park to walk 1 foot off the ground on some rope when a family could be using that real estate for a picnic. For a daughter and son to play catch with their mom or dad or throw the frisbee around. And you're telling me that you have to, set up this tightrope just so you can prove to the world that you can walk 1 foot off the ground. Come on. Relax, buddy. If you're going to do it, go into the woods and put that thing 6 feet off the ground at least. I can't believe it. And Pettersson, I'm not going to lie. Do whatever you want. It's your life. You're a good person. You give back. You're doing well for the city. You put on for the city. But maybe get off the unicycle, okay? Maybe wait till you're 41, okay? Retired. Because you hear about that, right? In the contract, these guys are not allowed to go, jet skiing and, they're not allowed to climb Mount Everest or maybe even, other extreme sports. You know what I'm saying? BMX riding, they're not allowed to skateboard, all that stuff. And we're out here letting this guy ride a unicycle. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous.
Yeah. And if you think we're making up the unicycle thing, just go Google Elias Pettersson unicycle. One more hidden talent I think Pettersson has, and Kyle, you might have to bleep this out. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure that he can do push-ups. And if
What
you don't know what I'm
the?
talking about, if you've seen the movie Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny, it's a thing.
Of course, I'm gonna
If
bleep
you can
that
do
out.
one of those, you're doing pretty good. I'm pretty sure Pettersson could do it because again, I think this guy could pretty much do it all.
Dude, if I could do that, I could get 4 inches off the ground, dude. What's so funny, dude?
Nothing.
That's not.
Nothing.
That's
No,
not.
that's perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's perfect, man.
Fully solid too. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Where's this episode going? Okay, see, we're talking about a trophy called the King Clancy Trophy. It's locked on Canucks, your team every day. Sports, wins and losses, right? Assumptions, prospects, rosters, and we're out here talking about the good deeds from one of our best players. It was obviously going to go down this path of randomness for real. But you know what? It's sunny. It's a Wednesday afternoon. It's bright. It's light, and we're celebrating kindness from our best player for real. For real.
Kindness, and we'll see if we can follow in the footsteps of some other Canucks who have won this trophy before. So, for those who don't know, every team nominates a player to win the trophy. Trevor Linden won the King Clancy Award back in 1997. Henrik won it in 2016, and then Henrik is the only player to win it more than once. He shared the trophy with Daniel in 2018. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. 32 candidates in the field, 32 good dudes, but I don't think any of them are as much of a certified good dude as Elias Pettersson is. I have nothing to back that up, but I just said it anyways because it's Locked On Canucks, baby. Your team every day. Maybe not Elias Pettersson talk every day, but almost every day because he's almost important.
Okay,
on the other side,
wait. Before we get to the next side, I know we both got to go. We got work to do, but give a little spiel out to the people, man. Like, lead with love, right? Let's do Pettersson a favor here. He's leading by example. Let's I don't know. What can we tell the people to do over the next couple of days to generate momentum or bounce off of again what Pettersson's doing. I'm gonna say this: if you see some random garbage on the ground, we've talked about it before. Pick it up. Pick it up. You don't have to pick it up with your hands. Grab something else over your hand, pick it up, throw it in the garbage. I'm not asking you to fill up a garbage bag, just one piece of garbage off the ground.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm gonna continue to teach my daughter to share and be nice to other people. Have a little get together for wifey's birthday this weekend, and might be another baby or two there. She's got to learn to share and be nice. So that'll be my good deed of the weekend.
Practice. There you go. I love it.
There you go.
The future.
All the way from certified good dude talk to aggressive shopping talk on the other side. We'll get to a report about the Canucks aggressively shopping some of their players. But before we do that, let me tell you why I'm able to put bacon on the table for my family. I used Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. We streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you match candidates. And with Indeed Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. One thing I love about Indeed, I can relate to them. And my wife calls me the Flash. We're not going to get into why, but I feel like I can relate to Indeed because of Indeed Instant Match. Mr. Flash over here, Mrs. Instant Match over there. Boom, bam, there we go. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to U.S. Indeed data. With Indeed matching as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Boom, it's hiring at warp speed. Indeed gets you one step closer to the hire by immediately matching you with quality candidates. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
You're back on Locked On Canucks. My name Kyle Bhawan. That is Trevor. Bags your team every day. Shout out to the everydayers who's been with us for the past couple of months, right? We appreciate you. And for the people who are not watching, we love you. We still love you, okay? Surrey, born and raised, both of us. We're going to lead with love the rest of the way. And we're going to lead by example, just like Elias Pettersson. Speaking of which, is he going to lose a couple of his friends off this team? Is he going to lose potentially one of his best friends off this team who plays wing, who gets paid a lot, who gets around 45 to 55 points, maybe 60, but he's kind of underwhelming because he's not really noticeable every now and then. Is Brock Besser getting traded? Is that actually going to happen? Or is it Beauvillier? Is it someone else? What's going to happen?
I think it's going to be Brock Besser. And the reason I say that is because even though he's got the biggest salary, he's, arguably the hardest player to move. I think he's got the most cachet out there among those players. Again, everyone thought he was going to be a 30-goal scorer. He's had really good underlying numbers at even strength. This guy's scored at a bona fide first line rate at even strength in 4 of the past 5 seasons. Like really 2021-22 is the only anomaly. I know people think he struggled last year and he didn't score as many goals, but he was playmaking, setting up plays, and the underlying numbers actually weren't too bad. Offensively, defensively is another story. We won't get to that. So I think it's going to be Brock Besser. The youngest, only 2 years left in the deal. I think you might find a team that just says, look, I think he can be that top line winger for our team. And if the Canucks keep him, they should be playing him with Elias Pettersson. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I just think that's the best place for Brock Besser, up on a line with Elias Pettersson and probably Andrei Kuzmenko as well.
Here's the thing. I think Brock Besser is probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest players to move actually on the team. I know he has the cachet, and maybe they can do so if, again, we all know this is the truth too, right? The East Coast doesn't really pay attention to the West Coast games, especially when the teams are bad, like the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe they're sleeping. Maybe they're not watching the Canuck games or sending scouts that way, and they're just looking at the stat sheet, right? Maybe the Canucks, because of that, can move off of that big salary. But again, that big salary is too much of a hurdle for teams in a league where the cap's not really going up a lot. I feel as if you can get a lot more value trying to either find another player, sign another player. I feel as if some of these contending teams have stacked rosters and, again, can pick up another player, maybe less skilled as Brock Besser, but with less of a cap hit and still generate as much of a impact, on a game-to-game basis from that player. What's that player that got traded to Seattle? I know they're completely different players. Oliver Bjorkstrand.
Yep.
I said that right. I know he didn't go for a lot to Seattle from Columbus. It was a bit of an off trade, but that type of player, based on the fancy stats, and I think I've heard this from multiple podcasts. He brings it every day when he's not scoring goals, when he's not generating offense. At least he's a big contributor playing defense. Well, not playing defense, but being a defensive forward. Being impactful against other players' best players, and he brings something to the table. Whereas Brock Besser, if you watch the games, bro, this guy he's a smart player. He's an intelligent player. He can find holes, but there's a lot of games where the guy's invisible. He's doing not much at all. And he gets paid way too much to take that many, to be invisible for that many games in an 82-game season. I think it's easier to trade somebody else. And if I'm another team, I'd rather have Connor Garland than Brock Besser.
Yeah, and, as the Canucks, I'd probably rather keep Connor Garland than Brock Besser, to be honest with you, because I just think Garland, he's been underutilized by this team for sure, like averaging 50 minutes a night the past season, despite being one of the best 5-on-5 producers on the team. Barely gets any power play time. And again, like Garland's often not invisible, ironically, even though he's one of the smallest players on the ice. And that kind of ties it nicely to the reason we're talking about this, which is a report from Frank Saravalli recently. He talked about how the Canucks are aggressively trying to shed contracts and garner cap space. I know that none of this is really new news at all, but he mentioned specifically that he thinks the focus has actually been on Connor Garland. So again, because the Canucks are trying to clear cap space, the prices to clear cap space are high. So that's the pickle the Canucks find themselves in. It's like, do you pay assets to get rid of players who are still good and still contributors?
They cannot do that. They cannot do that. And I feel as if that. How much does Brock Besser make? Like 7? Am I correct on that? Like is it like
6.65 million for 2 more seasons under the?
Sorry, what? Say that again.
6.65 million.
6.65. Connor Garland makes what? 5?
4
or like
5. 4.9.
Like, okay, so that $1.5 million gap, $1,700,000 whatever gap, I can't get the numbers straight. That gap, in my opinion, is worth what, a second round pick at least. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a chance that you can trade Connor Garland and get off the books from Connor Garland with a hockey trade slash a trade that doesn't involve us having to throw a sweetener. Maybe, just maybe, you can find a team that's going to bite on him, because at least Garland brings it every day. He's got points. I feel as if he can be utilized on a good team and, again, bring impact. Whereas Brock Besser, it's still up in the air. I mean, again, there's the cachet, but I think if you're going to trade that $6.65 million cap hit away, I think no matter what, you are giving a sweetener. It's just the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah,
I think there's a chance with Garland you can get away with it.
But I think, I know you and I see things the same way, but I would bet that there's 32 other NHL GMs in this league, and they're not quite seeing things the same way as us. I mean, Besser's the more prestigious player. Like we talked about Cachet, the guy's putting up more points per season. Again, underlying rates at even strength pretty good. And he's not, 5'8", 165 like Garland is, right? There's a bias there as well. And Garland's got one more year on his contract, right?
Aren't you 5'8", 167 or whatever? How have, come on,
5'9", 5'9", 165. No big deal. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm gonna go Brock Besser. You're saying it's Connor Garland that gets traded. Okay. We'll see who's right.
Dude,
let us know in the comment.
I want Brock Besser to get traded, though. I'm not gonna front. I think he needs a fresh start, and I think the Canucks need something about removing another player from this core seems so valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it super fresh, make it different. If you want change, then change. And Brock Besser just seems as if he's one of the core pieces in that room, and has been for years and years and years and years. And change needs to happen. I think again, it's just time, man. It's just time. That being said, I actually, I know you don't want to say too much in those press conferences, right? Because you got the piranhas out in front of you, like Trevor Beggs, But I actually believe him when he said he doesn't want to go anywhere anymore. That was super sincere. Maybe because he calmed down, or it was a really emotional time for him. I can't really assume what was going on in his mind earlier in the season, but maybe he wants to stay because of Takatu, and maybe there's a belief. Who knows? But again, I think it might be a little too late. This all being said, I'm sure we'll be back talking about this in a couple episodes when Trevor Beggs, he comes up with another format for a JT Miller to whomever, Colorado, right? That's next week. Next week on Locked On Canucks, JT Miller to the Colorado Avalanche. We'll talk about it next Thursday.
All right. Well, look out for that, I guess. But for now, let's get to break. Kyle, you got some comments on the other side here?
Yep.
All right. Comment corner on the other side. But before that, I need to ask, have you ever been stressed out by buying tickets at the last minute? Because I'm a big last minute deals guy, and I found the best place for killer deals at the last minute is Gametime. Gametime, they got my back, okay? I get these emails from Nicole at Gametime. She's always teasing me with concerts and events this week in my area. Not only are those weekly emails a tease, but Gametime offers me flash deals on last minute tickets. What's even better than that they have a lowest price guarantee along with event protection cancellation. Now, I have no choice but to get off my hiney and check out a show on a Friday night. Let me tell you a little bit more about the Gametime guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere, Gametime will credit you with 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKDOWNNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
You're back on Locked On Canucks. My favorite part of the show, Trevor Beggs, he's warming up to this side of the show as well. When we get to the comments, that being said, we only got a couple comments in the last episode too. At the end of this segment, we'll think of a question for the people, okay? We'll get engaged again. This question or this comment comes from Viper's Whip. She, I don't know, is it a he or she? We don't know. They left 2 comments, and they were talking about how, what did they say here? They said something about Can they get on the ice with the Abbotsford Canucks staff? Would they get in trouble for that? Because again, we talked about how the Canucks got fined $50,000 for training with Henrik and Daniel at Rogers Arena. Is there some loophole? Like, can they train somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? We were talking about that as well. And Viper also mentioned that it was painful to know that the Canucks were one number away from winning Connor Bedard, and yeah, all that jazz.
Pain, man. Pain.
This offseason is huge. I truly believe the training camp for the Vancouver Canucks and for next season already began, and they already got in trouble for it, right? $50,000 fine. I do feel as if they got to sign some NDAs. Okay. So again, Viper's whip recommended that the team, go to Abbotsford. Don't go to Rogers Arena to do all these like off ice workouts or on ice workouts, and get together as a team and go to a boot camp in Abbotsford, somewhere else other than Rogers Arena. Look, NDAs, you can do it at Rogers Arena, but make sure the news doesn't get out. Keep it hush hush. Real talk. Nobody's allowed to talk about it. It's all business, baby. It's all business. Or I don't know. Just grouse grind every day until the season starts.
That would keep you in shape for sure. Thanks Vipers Whip for the comments. And yeah, he's talked about Bedard coming to Vancouver in 6 years. Hey, let's dream, buddy. We dreamed about Bedard once, and it didn't work out, but
that's not gonna happen. I'm not dreaming about Bedard, man.
Come on, let's
go.
Bedard
is never coming home.
To train the Chicago Blackhawks. Love it.
Never, ever, ever, ever coming home. Never, ever. I'm not doing that, Trevor. As you can tell, like today, look, I've been all over the place, scrambly. Not my best performance here on Locked On Canucks. I'm 6 days away from turning 30, I don't have a lot of time to waste on assumptions and wishes that are impossible. Connor Bedard is a Blackhawk for life. Get over it. We're not getting this guy. But we don't need him because we got Elias Pettersson, one of the nicest guys in the NHL. I can guarantee that this dude, Pettersson, is way nicer than Connor Bedard. Way better. Wow. Way better of a human being.
I'm not going to go down that road, but
Why?
I'm glad
Why not?
that
Why not? You're going to be loyal? Anyways.
We're talking about a 17-year-old kid. God, come on.
Yeah,
come on. We're getting old. We're getting old, man.
We're
getting old.
We're talking about Pettersson, man. It's a good dude right there, man. Let me tell you something.
Elias Pettersson, certified good dude. That's all that matters. But for now, thanks for tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Shout out to the everydayers. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. And we love you. Coming up later this week, I do want to start revisiting some of Alvin's moves over the past year, our thoughts on them, and just kind of looking back at the decision making at the time and how the deal transpired. So check that. Look for that this week on the network. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bhawan, and we appreciate the heck out of you for listening to this episode of Locked On Canucks.
Peace, peace, peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.